Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do some rapid reviews to wrap up some knives I have in right now. So the first one's going to be the Cavill Knives Cage, and this is a tactical style knife. It's an interesting one for me because it has no clip, yet it's tactical. It's also on the smaller size, so for me, in terms of it being an actual like self-defense type deal, it wouldn't really work because of how small it is. If I stabbed anything with this, I'm going to cut myself here. And you can't really get it out too quick. That's what she said, because there's no clip on it. You know what I mean? But otherwise, it's really cool. I love the build quality, titanium, M390. It's $188, so the price point is on point. It's a contiguous design. He's coming out with some great stuff, especially with Cavill Knives. He's the designer behind one of my favorite knives this year so far, which is the Cavill Knives Denka. Absolutely love this knife. Just waiting on my slip to come in, and then I'm going to be carrying this quite a bit, I think, even though I've already reviewed it. Love the Denka. This one's not really for me because of the tactical nature of it. I'm not really a Pakal guy in general. Also, you know, like I said, the large glove size hands don't really work with this guy. And there's no clip, you know, it just makes it a little difficult for me. Now, I do want to note that Cavill Knives did tell me that they are working on a clip for this, I believe. Don't hold me to it, but I believe there's going to be a clip that you can buy to add to this, and it should use this screw. So I think what they're going to do is design something that will like seat into this screw hole maybe, and then another screw will go through that, a longer one, something like that, which would be really cool because I think a clip would be really nice on this. And if they pull that off, it might even be reversible. I don't know. Could be, but the angle might not work. So if anything, it'll be right-handed. The action on this is incredible. It is a reach arounder like this. That's the primary way I engage this knife. You can also pop it like that. I've gotten used to doing that. At first, it was a little awkward, but now I kind of just cup the knife down here and then pop it like that. Works really well. You can do that left-handed or right-handed, no problem. And again, it's on the smaller side. So here is a Urban EDC F5.5, and you can see it is smaller than that. So, you know, that is a 2.9-inch blade. Here's one, I believe. Is this 2.7 or is this also 2.9? I can't ever remember. Okay, it's the EXK that I think is a little bit smaller, but let's compare these in case anybody has a Burger Urban. You can see it is actually a little bit smaller than the Urban, which is a pretty small knife. So if that gives you an idea, here's a smaller knife. This is a Divo knives baby I said pony stout. These are releasing soon, so I figure I'll show it off here, but even that is a little bit bigger. This is the same size, I believe, as the F5.5. So yeah. All right, there's a size comparison. Grip-wise, it does work in this grip. You can kind of do this and then choke up onto the blade here, and you can use it for EDC stuff. You can also use it as a tactical talon, kind of like a Velociraptor, you know, if you wanted to. Click, 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 click. Yeah, I think it's cool. It only comes in this one colorway as far as I understand. It's just cool. They do unique and different stuff. You know what I mean? The Denka, the, what was the other one called? The Bucardo. They have this one. I really want to try their new one, the Amuse or something like that. Looks like a chef's knife, folding chef's knife. But this is really cool. And for the price point, I think it's pretty sweet and enticing if it's something you're into, especially if they're going to come out with a clip. So check out the Cavill Knives Cage. The next one's going to be this SRM knife. They sent me this to check out, and there's one feature on this I really love. Actually, there's a couple things I really like about it. It has broken in very nicely. The spring in here is not the best, but you could probably swap that out with something and make it a little better. But it's not really a reverse flickable knife because of that, but it does thumb flick really well. But the really cool thing about this knife is the clip. So if you look at this clip, it actually can be pinched. You pinch it and pull it out. And that is how you actually swap the clip. Then you can flip it over, and you just kind of pop this little piece right here up a little bit like this. Get it into that spot, pop it in. And now it's not coming out. It has a little bit of wiggle to it, but it's mostly because it sits into this channel here. And then when you want to get it out, squeeze, pull. And then kind of just wedge my thumb under. You can do it however you want to do it. Slide it in, pop. And I think that's freaking genius. I think these are like 60 bucks on Amazon. I'll link them down below. I've only seen them in yellow, I think, with thumb studs. I think they actually have a smaller version of it with a thumb disc, or a larger version. One of them's the small, but this is already a pretty big knife. I mean, you can see here, large glove-size hand, choked up in a normal grip back here. So, you know, you're looking at an 8-inch knife. So it does utilize a crossbar lock, and it has a really cool milling pattern in the scales. I think it looks good. This micarta is really nice. It is D2, but it's coated, which is cool. There's a little bit of side to side and a slight bit of up and down. Nothing crazy, but there is a little bit there. And that has kind of broken in. When I first got it, it was really tight, but it was also hard to, you know, it wasn't just swinging down like that. So broken in really nicely. I believe it's on washers. From looking in there, I can see phosphor bronze, a larger size phosphor bronze. So I think that it's on washers. So if you're looking for a nice, cheap user knife, I think this is actually a really good option for 60 bones. Now, like I said, it's a little bit, or I didn't say, it's a little bit off center. Let me see if dialing in this pivot helps that at all. So I did tighten that a little bit there. Wow, I tightened that a lot. Okay, it is still off center, and now it's not opening. So we are dealing with a Benchmade situation here. Now we're flicking out, and we have a little bit of play. And it's hard to close. Well, it's not hard. There we go. Any play. Little bit on both ends again. Very Benchmade-like here on this. And it's one of the reasons I really don't think an Axis style lock with washers is the best option. I 100% prefer to have bearings, because it allows that Axis style lock, which is very fidgety, to work the way I think it should. You know what I mean? But if you wanted a work knife, totally get it. I think this is sweet for 60 bucks. Can't really complain too much. I would want to put stronger springs in, but that's about it. That genius reversible clip. The knife overall is very handsome in my opinion. I think it's a sexy looking knife. So shout out to SRM for sending this my way. It will be linked down below, whichever ones I can find on Amazon. And yeah, so there's that one from SRM. The next one is the Black Mirror. This is the Max Ace Black Mirror. This one, to me, if you're right-handed, is kind of a no-brainer. I guess I should say, if you're like me, and you like holes and sheep's foot blades, and you're right-handed, this is a no-brainer. Even lefties might get in on this guy, but for $150 to $180, this is just stupid. You're talking about M390 steel, titanium with a carbon fiber inlay. I mean, extremely well-done inlays. Really nice looking captive pivot, really good clip. Wish the logo wasn't on there, but hey. All T8 hardware on this puppy. Nice big pill-shaped hole. Detent is on point. You know, I would want it a little stronger, but it's fine, right? You have lock bar access for days. At first, I couldn't get used to this. It kept spinning in my hand when I was like trying to disengage it. But what I learned to do was kind of just lock it in place down here, and then hit it, and you're good to go. It doesn't come down with like a corner and kill you. It kind of is soft for some reason. I think it just kind of slides down versus chopping down like something like this would do. This will take your thumb off if you let it, right? So what I usually do with this is I will disengage it like this and then let it swing down, right? Size comparison here. I didn't notice, but these are, I guess, kind of similar in a few ways. It's kind of like a trimmed down Evo. If everything looks the same, then sure, but not really. But You know, similar vibes, sheep's foot, cool knife, that kind of deal. But yeah, the ergos for me are not perfect. I don't love these banana-shaped handles, but it works really well. You could choke up like this. There's no jimping up here, and it's flat and stonewash, so you know, you don't get the best grip up here, but it works. Nice, tall, flat grind, full flat grind that's nice and thin. Detent hole is exposed. The worst thing on this for me is the detent ball ramp. It starts here, which is absolutely atrocious in my opinion. If you're right-handed, doesn't matter. You swing right through it, right? But if you're left-handed, you have to get all the way to here, push past that, then get down. And lefties, we like to do this and then shake our knife down, right? So again, let's grab that Evo. I'm going to flick it out. I'm going to disengage that. I'm going to get past that detent, and I'm going to let it swing down, right? Do it a little quicker for you here. Swing over, close, let it shake, right? F5.5, flick out, disengage, let it swing down, and close. Pony stout, flick knife, disengage, let it swing down, or shake down, whatever you want to call it. This knife, disengage, go to shake, and I get stuck on that friggin' detent because it is so late, right? All those other knives, by the time I got to here, I was way past the detent, right? On this knife, the detent doesn't, you don't break past it till here. Now, oh, and jump back. Now I'm past it. And I know that seems like a little bit of a nitpick, but it's honestly a big deal when you're left-handed because it's annoying. And you end up doing this a lot, right? Where you got to shake past it, or you go to do it and you accidentally lock it back up and you double clutch it, or you're like kind of stuck on this, and then, you know, you can cut yourself. There's just things that could bother you. Now, you could do this move, lefty, and it works really well. You just do the index finger push, do the Brandon Ziegler, and it works really, really well on this guy. So that way, it'll pass right through that detent, and that's probably the way to do it. Now, you also have to rest up here on the pivot, lefty. You can't put your finger where you want to because, or where I normally land, because you will lock up that detent. You can come down here on the clip, but it's such a thin frame, it's a little bit awkward. So it's really best to come right here and give it sort of a side flick. It works. I mean, it works really well. So if you love this design and you're left-handed, I think it's still a go. You just have to overlook that ramp. And if you're right-handed, I totally understand the hype on this thing, especially for the price point. I think if this was $300, like most knives in these materials, you know, people wouldn't be going as bananas for it. I think it would still be good and popular, but for the $150 price point, this is silly, right? This was loaned in by White Mountain Knives, so big shout out to White Mountain Knives. I will link it down below as long as it's still in stock there. Even if not, you can sign up for their notification list. If it's in stock anywhere else, I'll link it as well. Same goes for all of these knives. Check the description, check the comments. I got links down there for everything I can find, and it really helps the channel. That's the Black Mirror, and I really like it. The next one is the Button Lock Elementum number 2. And this has surprised the ever-loving piss out of me. I really did not expect Civivi to pull this off, because the first time around, they really just took a dump on us with that Elementum with no flipper, where you just had to like flip it out and it locked closed. So you couldn't do this, right? You couldn't just flick it out. You had to disengage and then flick out, I think, right? Well, no, maybe you could just flick it. I'm an idiot. You could just flick it. What was it you couldn't do? Oh, you couldn't, like, flick off of the... That's right. You couldn't do this, right? Because it was locked in until you hit the button. So on this one, it's a more traditional button lock. Flipper, the detent is money. I mean, look at that. Money. So very good, and because of this black wash, I can flick it off of the blade as well. This is, I guess it's more of a PVD, but it's got a nice little tone to it. It kind of looks like a black wash to me. It might be a light one. Nice hollow grind. No play in any direction, yet it drops like it's hot. It's dead center. I mean, Yeah, guys, we absolutely crushed it on this one. You get that nice sort of fake choil that works really well. Call it a flipper choil on this one. This is not too comfortable because I have a large glove-sized hand, but choke up, boom, ready to go. Biggest gripe on this knife, they did not put a reversible clip. What in God's name were they thinking? Why did you not tap this puppy over here? Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, they wanted to keep the show side clean. Yeah, but they do it on every other knife. They tap it. It's almost like they knew that I hated the first one and that I was going to get this and like it. And then they were like, ha, that motherfucker, we're going to get him. I'm just kidding. I don't know why they did it. It's stupid. I think some people think that the button lock is inherently just a right-hand only knife or a lock because you have to use your thumb over here right-handed. But left-handed, it is just as easy. You just pop your index finger over. The button lock is honestly possibly easier left-handed because you just push that lock in and let it drop. I mean, it doesn't take any more effort than it does right-handed. So it's a very ambidextrous system, and I really wish they had added that lefty clip. How much do I care? Not that much, you know. It bugged me at first, but, like, whatever. It's not a big deal. You can reverse flick this pretty well. You just dig into the finish and grab it. So it will depend on the finish. I believe this is a Nitro V, and I think it's like $80 or something like that. So this is a home run. They crushed it. They finally did it. This is the best Elementum I've ever handled. This one's in G10 and Nitro V, like I said. So, you know, not my favorite materials or anything. And I'll probably pick this up off of White Mountain Knives. They sent this one in as well. And I'll probably give it away or, you know, do something like that with it. So stay tuned for that. But this is the Civivi Elementum 2, they're calling it. And it's a banger, guys. So one of the best budget knives I've handled in a while. The last one. This one is going to be the LTK Result. So this is also done by We/Civivi, and they crushed this one. Lee did a great job on this design. You see that little fuller there. It's very reminiscent to me of the Ferrum Forge Stinger. And then it has that sort of LTK look to it. If you look at the Vandal, it's very similar to that, right? When I say it has Ferrum Forge vibe, I kind of just mean like the colorway and the fuller, I guess, is what I'm talking about. I don't mean like he's copying them, you know. The detent on this thing is stout, and the, man, those fullers are just money. Bang! It really rips out of there, and you can even thumb flick it pretty easy. It's a lot easier right-handed, I think. Yeah. Whoops. Okay, Kev. What am I doing? Am I hitting the flipper tab? Yeah, I think I was hitting the flipper tab. There you go. So you have a flipper. You have a reverse flick. And then you have a thumb flick. And just like the Skeleton Bladeworks Caledon, you have a hidden flipper tab system. So if you flick this down, you'll see there's a little bit of a bolster nubbin kind of sticking out. Same thing here, which is cool. It hides the flipper tabs. Here's a size comparison because the Caledon is a 3.6 inch, 8.5 inch knife, something like that. And LTK is known for loving larger knives, but thank you for making a smaller size knife. That's very nice. So it's probably a 3.5 inch blade on that guy. 8 inches overall would be my guess on this guy. It does have a reversible clip. I am told that it is a pain to reverse. You actually have to take the whole knife apart because of that barrel in there. Now, I haven't tested it myself, but it's possible you could unscrew that, maybe push the barrel and get it, a clip out, push the barrel back, pop it in. I don't know. But you probably have to take the knife apart, which kind of sucks. But you know what? At least they gave you the option. And it's really cool that it's a hidden, you know, reversible clip system. I think that's pretty cool. And again, left-handed, it is just as easy to actuate as it is right-handed. You can do all the same flicks and thumb flips and everything. So really cool design. I mean, it feels really good in the hand. I'll say when I first got it, I did notice that it felt really heavy. There's no internal milling. You only have these inlays, which I guess are milled out, and then the inlays go in. So that's kind of your milling there. But after carrying it for, you know, a couple days and having it and handling it, it really feels pretty normal to me weight-wise. It's still, you know, heavier than most, but it's not anything that's like, oh, man, like I wouldn't want to own this because of it. You know what I mean? It's not Chavez heavy. So if that means anything to you, it's probably like 5 ounces would be my guess. You have a, obviously you have a stop pin right here, which is nice. I like the size of that stop pin. We talked about the plunge grind in the unboxing. It looks really, really well done. I think it's right around here. So you got some sharpenings there. You got the LTK logo, probably not my favorite looking logo, but it is what it is. And honestly, it's more reserved than a lot of people would do. There's nothing else on this knife. I'd love to see it in like a belt satin, something other than just a stonewash. But again, you know, that's what Lee likes, so that's what he went with, which is cool. This is in 20 CV steel and titanium, and these go for $245 on White Mountain Knives. I believe it is an exclusive, so definitely check out whitemountainKnives.com. I will link it down below. Use my code LeftyEDC to pick up any of these knives I mentioned, the Black Mirror, the Elementum 2, and this, if they're in stock, along with anything else they might have. You can kind of choke up like this. You just need to be careful. You're right up on that edge, but it does work. You have some jimping running down the blade, which works pretty well. I like the button mechanism, the way it's designed. There's some room there. There's a little indent. It's indented, the button, and it's flush with the scale, which is nice. It pops out a little bit when engaged, and then you just push and drop. Haven't had any issues with it disengaging. The location of it is just really good. Even like this, haven't had that issue. You do have the kind of, you know, budget clip from Civivi, and I think that's why I thought this knife would be cheaper. I think for titanium, G10, and 20 CV, $245 isn't a bad price, but I think the clip kind of threw me off. I kind of expected this to be like Nitro V or 14C and be like, you know, $150 or something like that. But they went the 20 CV route, which I think a lot of people are going to appreciate. So I don't know, the clip kind of doesn't go with it, but it works. And, you know, it's not something that bugs me. I'm a big fan of the wire clip, so I'm not going to sit here and act like this clip is a big deal, but I want to point it out. So really cool knife. This is the LTK Result. This is my favorite of his design so far, and yeah, it's fantastic. So there you go. That's some quick, rapid reviews, guys. I think I knocked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in like 22 minutes. Come on, give me a round of applause, guys. All right, I love you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. There are links down in the description to basically everything you could need, so use them. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Love you all. Hope you have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.